Greetings viewers, BK Dragoon here with Beginner's Guide Part 3. We'll be looking at CSR, the false notion of advanced strategies, and player responsibility. Now, before we get into it, NGL Frosty is the gamer tag that some of the gameplays will be from today. If you haven't been to any of my streams, you won't know who it is, but if you have been to my streams, you'll know it's a new 1-month account that I've been rolling up and playing on stream. It's more fun to actually like re-level up, and once you're at 130, it's a little bit more stagnant in my opinion. Plus, it let me experiment further with CSR to get some information I needed for this video. So what are we looking at in part 3 and as we get near the end of the guide? Well, CSR and how to rank quickly, first of all. I'm going to explain how it works, its benefits, and its downfalls. I want to provide some perspective on the system so you all can take it as a grain of salt and understand that there are some flaws with the individually ranked playlists or just certain things you should be aware of going in. Number 2, we're going to talk about the false notion of advanced strategies. This one sounds a little bit complicated. It really isn't. It just involves understanding how to read the situation and knowing when to play aggressively and when to be cautious. And number 3, player responsibility. This one won't take very long. So let's start with CSR. Competitive skill ranking can be found on your Halo Waypoint profile, and the game you guys are watching actually is a very high-level CSR game that I played on stream, so some of you might be familiar with this comeback. It's in my opinion, a very sweet comeback. I want you to keep a very close eye on the scoreboard because at a point we are very far down when the red team is very close to winning, okay? And at the same time, this is an individually ranked CSR playlist, so it helps me explain further. So, CSR, or competitive skill ranking, doesn't only have to be found on your Halo Waypoint profile. My preferred sites are halotracker.com, but the best, in my opinion, to have up when you're playing, if you have a laptop or another screen, is quickcsr.com or teamquickcsr.com. Links are going to be below. CSR is a 1 to 50 rank assigned to you, and it's not visible in-game. There are 2 types of CSR playlists. There's the individually ranked and the team ranked, and I'll explain how both work in a second. The individually ranked playlists are Infinity Slayer, SWAT, Rumble Pit, Action Sack, Big Team Battle, Snipers, Regicide, and Flood. The team ranked CSR playlists are Doubles, Throwdown, Objective, Griffball, Dominion, and CTF. Now don't let the word team fool you. It is used primarily to help classify the 2 types of CSR rankings. The individual playlists do not rank you on your win-loss. It ranks you based upon your final score across the leaderboard. The system overlooks a win or a loss and just looks at your final score at the end of the match in comparison with everybody in that game. Each team looks at your kills and your assists added together primarily. Deaths mean virtually nothing to this ranking up or ranking down process, but obviously understand if you're dying a ton in your matches, you're most likely not topping the leaderboard and you're usually near the bottom half, which is going to send you down in rank. So the team playlists are based upon a win-loss. So win-loss playlists rank slower than the individually ranked, but if you're familiar with the Halo 3 ranking system, it's a lot like that. So you're obviously going to find probably steeper competition when you get higher up in the win-loss playlists. The best way I can describe the individually ranked playlists is this. So say you're playing Infinity Slayer, you're matched against opponents who are higher CSR than you beat them or you finish higher on the leaderboard than most of those higher ranked opponents, you're most likely going to rank up. Alternatively, and this is where the issue arises, if you're placed into a match against players of lower CSR and don't top the leaderboard or finish below a few of those players with lower rank than you, the system is going to gladly downrank you. This issue is starting to become more apparent as to why individual CSR, as it is now, has some complications. It's not 100% perfect, especially when the matchmaking system will take players from all CSR levels and match them against you. This match, I'm CSR 48. Some of the opponents are like 45s and there's a 49, but a few of my teammates, there's a 29 and there's a 33 on my team. So the system will certainly take players like not even within 10 of your level and stick them with you if it needs to. And this gets amplified if you play late at night or if you play in a different time zone than like when the North American like hot time is, right? If you're in another country and it's like 3:30 a.m. in North America, you're going to have tiny playlist populations, and so it's going to pick players from all over the place, especially Rumble Pit, my goodness, because late at night that playlist has just a couple hundred people in it, so you'll continually face the same opponents and they'll be way outside of your CSR range. Anyway, Despite 343's statement saying that they would tweak the join in progress system, you can indeed get destroyed by it. I'll give you an example. When I got to CSR 48, like that last match I showed you, that was pretty much the last match of my stream before I had to move, and I haven't played since then, basically. I turned on the Xbox the morning I was going to leave. I played 3 more matches of Infinity Slayer, and I went from a 48 down to a 46 because I lost 3 games in a row and got placed into join in progress games. 3 join in progress games in a row. 2 of them were out of control. 1 of them we could have won, but like 2 of them, I came into it. Blue team had 14 kills. I had 1 kill. It was astounding. Like, just, I know the window is like 60 seconds from when the game begins, but in a game of Halo, if you've got a really good team, they get map control and all the power weapons within 60 seconds, and that dictates the pace of the match. Playing in the individually ranked playlist with friends who are far better than you will also be somewhat of a detriment to you and your CSR. If you cannot consistently get near the top of the leaderboard, i.e. kills and assists, then ranking down will become a normality for you when you play with a full group of superstars, okay? And I want to stress that when I say winning or losing in the individually ranked playlist, winning the game or losing the game doesn't really factor much into it. It's very minuscule. And deaths are very minuscule. It all comes down to your final score on the leaderboard at the end. And so it's one of those things where you could just go and reach. The arena system gave huge benefits to those who had super amounts of kills and super amounts of assists. It didn't really care that much about deaths. So very aggressive players who shot all the time and got a lot of assists were very high ranked. So then, how to rank up quickly? Well, first, you must understand that to rank the fastest, you'll want to play in the individually ranked CSR. The team CSR is harder, and it's going to rank slower. If you want your 50 fast, go play any of the individually ranked playlists and focus heavily on your kills and assists. Put shots into anything that moves, hopefully to earn an assist out of the deal. Don't be an overly selfish player, but try and follow teammates who consistently throw themselves into action. If you can get just a couple of shots into opponent to get those assist points, it'll aid you massively. Do not quit games, ever, under any circumstance. It will consider you quitting a game as finishing on the very bottom of the leaderboard, no matter what your score was when you quit, okay? So don't quit games, it'll really mess up your CSR. If you get thrown into a really bad match through join in progress, it's going to happen. It happens a ton, and it's frustrating. Just focus on trying to outplay a few of your teammates to do your best and not end up on the bottom of the leaderboard. Hopefully you can maybe hit the middle of the road and stabilize your CSR to not go up or not go down and just stay there. The last but not least, take the CSR rank as a grain of salt. Join in progress can ruin the validity of the system, and technically, you don't really have to outplay the other team, you just need to get a higher score than everyone, so it's an odd mindset, but hopefully some of these tips will help you avoid the pitfalls of CSR frustration. To put it in perspective, an individually ranked 50 doesn't probably carry the same weight, in my opinion, as one of the team-ranked 50s, just because the team-ranked 50s is just straight win-loss, isn't going to be, suffering some of the woes and pitfalls of the individual stuff. I hope that helps you guys with the CSR. If you have any questions, ask me below. I'm not a CSR expert. I did do research before this, but I don't want to promote anything that is false. Checked my facts, so I'm 99% sure we're all good, but if there's something that's out of order or something I didn't cover, you can let me know, because CSR is fairly new. The last 2 topics, and they're not going to take much time, is the false notion of advanced strategies. A question people ask a lot, and especially for these guides, is what are some more advanced strategies? Because they seem to think that the fundamentals aren't enough and that the fundamentals aren't carrying them enough. And I'm here to tell you guys that the only advanced strategies you can get into past what I'm trying to teach you involves having a team. You need a team of 4, and you need to have mics, because I can only show you gunfighting fundamentals. I can only show you how to react in a public matchmaking setting, but I can't sit here and tell you how to, do a CTF strat with a team, how to form a contain, how to spawn lock. A lot of things that are very key when you play with a team, but that's all going to come down on individual situations. You know what I'm saying? Individual situations that have to be broken down. An advanced strategy for a CTF game and a certain map is going to be totally different than like a Slayer strategy. Does that make sense? I can offer you this. If you aren't finding enough success with your basic gunfighting fundamentals, that means your map movement and map awareness is probably pretty poor, because the basic fundamentals can get you out of a lot of situations, a lot of them. unless the other team is just extremely well coordinated, which doesn't happen a ton in like playlists like Infinity Slayer or SWAT. You're not going to run into crazy strats where they're going to know contains, where they're going to know spawns, and they're going to know how to trap. So, how do you learn more advanced strategies then? Well, watch your replays. I've said it a lot, but more importantly, just watch pro gameplay and watch pro streams. One of the bummers about the Halo community, in contrast with StarCraft, is the Halo community doesn't put replays out there. The pros very rarely put replays out there for the public to view. And that's kind of a disappointment because the pros are the best at the game. And I really think that you can learn probably more in an hour of watching Ninja stream than 5 hours of playing by yourself. Just understand that if you can watch more of the pros and see the strats that they employ, you might be able to take that logic and dispense it into your own play. But in public matchmaking settings, I'm not going to honestly sit here and try and teach some crazy advanced strategy when you're playing solo. You know, it's so situationally based, and I hope this doesn't come across as like just overlooking something, because there are advanced strategies in the game, but the advanced strategies of playing as a solo player in public matchmaking revolves around knowing when to engage and when to disengage, and this one's pretty simple. You need to look at your scoreboard. Every single time you're alive, you need to be glancing at that scoreboard every 7, 6, 5 seconds, you know? You need to pay attention as to who is getting the kills, when are they getting the kills. If you just watch the red team score go up by a value of 3, you can understand, oh, nice over there. You can understand that, oh my gosh, a lot of my teammates are dead. There's a lot of red people alive. Maybe this isn't the time for me to run into the room guns a-blazing. Okay? That's just very basic logic, right? So you need to watch that scoreboard. If you're way down on score, you have to play aggressively. Look at the end of this match. Look how tight the score is. I'm being careful with my angles to not give away a free kill. I'm not going to jump back out there as I give away a free kill. I'm not going to jump back out against that 2v1 situation, right? And thank goodness my teammates cleaned it up there for me at the end. But you get what I'm saying. Let's go into the next match and I'll talk about it there and we'll finish up part 3. So, situational reading. What is it? How do you do it? How do you determine when to push and when to be cautious? I would always advise you to play on the side of cautious over the side of overly aggressive, unless you're just an amazing player like Modest Major, who's very, very well practiced in being an extremely aggressive player. I would not recommend, going completely all out unless you're very confident in your shot and very confident in your skills. A passive play style will also, though, lose you many games. So finding the balance is going to depend on your opponents. It's going to depend on where you are on the map. If you're on a crap place on the map with no power weapon, you obviously are going to need to get yourself to a place of power or give yourself a weapon that's going to get you an advantage. So in those circumstances, I'm going to go aggressive. I've got nothing to lose. I'm not holding on to a sniper. I'm not holding on to a sweet weapon. I'm going to play aggressively. If you, alternatively, have a sweet weapon like the sniper rifle, your goal is not to go to the middle of the map and just, try and no-scope people. You want to use that weapon to its advantage, which means you're going to get a little bit further away from the action, give yourself some time to kite opponents towards you so that they can't just abuse the fact that your sniper's hard to use up close, and the fact that, hey, if I get in this dude's face, I'm totally going to win, right? That's the idea, minus that really weird voice. So, the idea of advanced strategies, in my opinion, is a false notion. Just call it strategy. Just call it reading the game. Call it understanding, your map awareness. Whatever you want to call it. You have to just play, watch replays, and it's experience. If I were to try and write out or explain out some sort of, and then you go to the middle at 8:42, at 8:33 exactly, pull out your magnum and shoot the sun 3 times. A giant flurry of rocket launchers will land on the floor, gifting you and your team with the victory, and whatever. I don't know. I'm done talking about that. So last but not least, talk about player responsibility and the weapon patch that's going to be coming pretty soon. So player responsibility is a mindset that revolves around putting all the weight of your loss on your shoulders. Now, wait, what? How is that possible? Halo, there's so many things that happen. There's lag and my team sucked and I didn't get the weapons and... Yep. There's a lot of things that can happen. That was a bad name. There's a lot of things that can happen in Halo that are totally out of your control. Bad spawns, really, like, bad connection, horrible teammates, whatever. There's a lot of things you can blame the game on. But my opinion, to improve the best, you need to adopt the mindset that the game is never wrong. The game is never wrong. And we all know it's not. We know the game makes mistakes sometimes, and there's lag and all sorts of BS. But if you can start honestly looking at your losses and going, what could I have done better? Honestly. And this is going to take forever. I know I'm emphasizing it a lot, and I talk all the time about replays, but I can't even do it, dudes. I can't do it in StarCraft. I can't do it in this game yet. It's a thing you constantly practice where, hey, I got this shotgun right here, and I'm glad I got that nade kill, but I played that really badly. I could have died there easily. I played it poorly, in my opinion, in that circumstance. Now, I made a nice adjustment and got the nade off, but you get what I'm saying. When you're in a match and you lose the game, please don't blame the game. Please don't blame your teammates. Go back and watch the replay and look and see, it's like, did every decision I make, was it the best? Was it the best decision I could have made? Because there are infinite decisions you can make in this game. Infinite. You guys might not realize it, but every time you move, you're making a decision and you're making an action. Every time you fire, you're making a move and an action. Reloading, all of these things. The way you use your radar, these are all actions. And the way you use them determines your success. Get stuck on the wall and die. Didn't know the map right there. That's a simple thing for me to say. And I shouldn't have engaged right there. He had the advantage on the shots, right? These are all things that will develop out of the mindset of just trying to assume responsibility for your play. Yes, it'll be your team's fault sometime, and yes, the game will screw up. But if you can just please understand that a GG, you know, a good game, even if it's a loss, makes a better player. There's a really great quote that I'll talk about in part 4 called "More GG, more skill," and I hope you guys just ponder that statement, you know, till part 4 comes out, which should be pretty soon. And we'll see you all next time. If you have questions for me, ask them below. Part 4 will be the last part in the guide. Thanks, guys, for being patient with me, too, while I was away. Love you. BBK's out.